Hello everyone and welcome to Old Coins TV channel. If you love exploring the world of coins, their history, value, and rare discoveries, you've come to the right place. Here, we'll share exciting information about coins from around the world, from ancient treasures to modern currency. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon to never miss our latest videos. The 1974, 1975, and 1976 Lincoln cents are fascinating pieces of American coinage that capture a unique period in U.S. history, blending tradition, subtle change, and the everyday life of ordinary Americans. These 3 consecutive years mark the final era of predominantly copper pennies before the mint fully transitioned to copper-plated zinc in the early 1980s, making them an essential part of any modern Lincoln cent collection. Each coin carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that had been in continuous circulation since 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. While billions of these pennies were minted, their value to collectors extends far beyond their face value. Factors such as mint mark, condition, color, red-brown, striking quality, and the presence of rare errors or varieties can dramatically influence their worth. The 1974 cent is particularly interesting due to the experimental aluminum pattern coins and the economic backdrop of rising copper prices. The 1975 and 1976 cents, while more common in circulation, still hold significance because they reflect the continuation of traditional coinage during a period of social, economic, and technological change in the United States. Together, these 3 pennies not only serve as a tangible connection to over 50 years of American daily life but also offer collectors and enthusiasts a rewarding study in historical context, minting techniques, and the subtle variations that can turn ordinary coins into valuable keepsakes. The 1974 Lincoln 1 cent is one of the most historically interesting and widely collected modern-era American pennies because it sits directly in the middle of the dramatic copper-to-zinc transition period in United States coinage. By 1974, America had just passed through one of the most important metal composition changes in U.S. mint history. Rising copper prices in the late 1960s and early 1970s had pushed the cost of producing a copper penny dangerously close to, and at times even above, its face value. Because of this, the mint was already searching for alternative metals, experimenting with aluminum and plated zinc. Although 1974 pennies were still officially struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, they were minted under extraordinary economic pressure, making them a key year that collectors focus on when studying the last era of real copper cents. Every 1974 cent contains about 2.95 grams of copper, and today, the melt value alone is often higher than 1 cent, which gives this coin an extra layer of interest beyond face value. The obverse features the iconic Abraham Lincoln portrait designed by Victor David Brenner, showing Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1974 to the right. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, with the tiny statue of Lincoln visible between the central columns, making it one of the few circulating coins in the world to show the same person on both sides. This design had already been in use since 1959, but by 1974 it had become a familiar everyday symbol of American money, passing through millions of hands at grocery stores, gas stations, and school lunch counters. The Philadelphia Mint struck coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck coins with a D mint mark beneath the date. In total, over 4.2 billion 1974 cents were minted, making it one of the highest mintage years in U.S. history, which is why most circulated examples are still common today. Even though the regular 1974 pennies are common, Collectors search intensely for rare varieties, errors, and exceptionally well-preserved pieces. One of the most famous experimental coins related to this year is the 1974 aluminum cent, a pattern coin created by the mint to test a lightweight aluminum replacement for copper. These aluminum cents were never officially released into circulation, but a very small number escaped the mint. Only a handful are known to exist today, and they are considered legendary rarities. If one were ever offered publicly, it could be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Within normal circulation strikes, collectors also look for double die obverse varieties, repunched mint marks, die cracks, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, and broadstrikes. A 1974 double die cent can show noticeable doubling in Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, and such coins can be worth anywhere from tens to thousands of dollars depending on the strength of the doubling and the condition. High-grade uncirculated examples are also highly collectible. While most 1974 pennies you find in pocket change are worn and only worth face value, a perfectly preserved Mississippi 67 or Mississippi 68 red road graded coin can be worth hundreds of dollars, and sometimes even more when demand is high. Coins in these grades must have full blazing red color, sharp strike, no visible wear, and almost no marks, making them extremely rare despite the huge original mintage. The 1974 Lincoln cent also holds cultural and historical value because it reflects an era of inflation, metal shortages, and economic change in the United States. During this period, Americans were experiencing rising prices for food, gasoline shortages, and changes in everyday life. The penny in your pocket symbolized stability, yet behind the scenes, the mint was urgently working to redesign its composition to keep it affordable. Only 8 years later, in 1982, the United States finally switched to copper-plated zinc cents, making the 1974 penny part of the final chapter of real copper circulating coinage. For collectors, this means that every 1974 cent is both a small piece of metal and a preserved piece of economic history. Whether kept as a childhood souvenir, saved in a coin album, or studied for rare varieties, the 1974 Lincoln cent continues to be admired as a symbol of America's transition from traditional coinage metals to modern plated coin technology. Another fascinating aspect of the 1974 Lincoln 1 cent is how deeply it connects everyday American life with the science of metallurgy and the psychology of money. In 1974, inflation was climbing rapidly, wages were struggling to keep pace with rising prices, and even the humble penny was quietly becoming more expensive to produce than it was worth. This created a strange situation in which people began saving pennies in jars not only for small purchases but also because they sensed that the copper itself might become valuable one day. The penny, which had always been considered the smallest and least important coin, suddenly became a symbol of national debate. Should the United States even keep the cent in circulation? Economists, politicians, and mint officials openly discussed eliminating it or changing its metal. The 1974 cent stands at the center of this discussion, because it was struck in massive quantities while simultaneously being part of a system that was becoming economically outdated. Many Americans born in the 1960s and 1970s remember carrying these exact coins to school for milk or candy, never imagining that decades later collectors would be studying them under magnification, weighing them to the hundredth of a gram, and checking their mint marks to see if they might be hiding a valuable variety. The coin also reflects changes in manufacturing technology, as the mint was improving die steel quality, tightening quality control, and modernizing presses to handle faster striking speeds, which in turn produced more minor errors and die varieties that are now sought after by collectors. This makes the 1974 cent not only a piece of economic history but also a technical record of how American coin production evolved in the late 20th century. Each circulated example carries microscopic scratches, bag marks, and wear patterns that silently record where it has been. In pockets, drawers, cash registers, and bank rolls, turning every surviving 1974 penny into a tiny time capsule of American daily life. From a collector's perspective, the 1974 Lincoln cent is particularly interesting because of the wide range of grades, colors, and conditions that dramatically affect its value. While billions of these coins were struck, most circulated examples show the typical signs of everyday use: faded red color, dark brown toning, scratches, and worn details on Lincoln's face and the memorial. However, the ones that have been carefully preserved in coin rolls, albums, or holders can retain their original bright red luster, which is highly prized by collectors. The red-brown (RB) and brown-BN color classifications are essential when evaluating 1974 cents because even subtle differences in color can increase a coin's value by tens or hundreds of dollars. Red coins retain the majority of their original copper surfaces, showing the brilliant metallic sheen that new pennies had when they first left the mint. Red-brown coins display a mix of original copper and the natural toning that develops over decades, often giving them a warm, slightly muted appearance. Fully brown coins are generally heavily circulated, with dark, uniform coloring, but in higher grades, even brown coins can command attention if they are well struck and free of major defects. Collectors also focus on striking quality, looking for coins with sharp details on Lincoln's coat, the folds of his beard, and the delicate lines of the Lincoln Memorial columns on the reverse. Coins with weak strikes, die chips, or planchet flaws are often avoided unless they are recognized as rare error varieties, which can be highly desirable. Special attention is also given to mint marks, as the Denver Mint coins sometimes show slight differences in strike and finish compared to Philadelphia coins, and certain anomalies like repunched mint marks or doubled dies can occur. All of these factors combine to make the 1974 Lincoln cent both an accessible and endlessly fascinating coin for collectors, blending historical significance, metal composition, design artistry, and the subtle science of grading into a single small copper disc that has survived over 50 years of American life. The 1975 Lincoln 1 cent is a notable coin in American numismatic history, representing both continuity and subtle change in U.S. coinage during the mid-1970s, a period marked by economic uncertainty and technological evolution at the U.S. Mint. Struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, the 1975 penny continued the traditional composition of Lincoln cents that had been standard for decades, just before the widespread shift to copper-plated zinc in the 1980s. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that had been in continuous use since 1909, showing Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1975 to the right, while the reverse displays the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design first introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The Lincoln Memorial itself is rendered with meticulous detail, showing the small statue of Lincoln seated between the central columns, making the coin unique among circulating currency for its intricate miniature sculpture. In 1975, the mint produced billions of these coins, with Philadelphia minted coins having no mint mark and Denver minted coins bearing the small d mint mark below the date. Despite their high mintage, which makes most circulated examples common, collectors remain interested in 1975 cents because of the range of colors, strikes, and rare varieties that occur. The coins can appear in red (RD), red-brown (RB), or brown (BN) depending on how much of the original copper luster has survived decades of circulation. Red coins are especially prized, showing the original metallic shine and crisp details on Lincoln's face, beard, and coat, as well as the columns of the memorial on the reverse. Even minor differences in strike quality, planchet flaws, or die errors can create collectible varieties. Popular errors for 1975 cents include double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and die cracks, each of which can significantly increase a coin's value if properly verified. From a historical perspective, the 1975 cent reflects a period in American life when inflation and economic challenges were influencing everyday money. Yet the penny itself remained a constant and familiar presence in daily transactions, appearing in school lunches, vending machines, cash registers, and personal coin collections. These pennies also provide a tangible link to the evolving technology of the mint in the 1970s, when the presses were modernized for faster, higher quality striking, and quality control was improving, resulting in subtle differences in coins even within the same year and mint. For collectors today, 1975 cents are accessible yet rewarding coins to study, as they combine historical significance, economic context, metallurgical interest, and the artistry of American coin design, making them an essential piece of any modern Lincoln cent collection. Even ordinary circulated examples serve as a window into mid-1970s America, while uncirculated, high-grade, or error coins can fetch significant premiums in the marketplace, providing both enjoyment and potential investment value to those who seek them. Beyond its basic design and composition, the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent is remarkable for the variety of conditions and subtle minting nuances that make even ordinary pennies fascinating to collectors and historians alike. While billions were produced, each coin carries its own story, shaped by how it circulated, the climate it was stored in, and the handling it endured over decades. Coins that remained in coin rolls or protective albums often retain the original bright red luster, classified as red RD, while those exposed to air and handling gradually develop red-brown RB or fully brown BN. Toning, reflecting natural oxidation of copper. The quality of the strike is another critical factor. Some 1975 cents exhibit sharply detailed features on Lincoln's coat and beard, and precise lines in the Lincoln Memorial columns, while others may show weak strikes due to die wear or subtle misalignments during production. Numismatic enthusiasts also pay attention to mint errors and varieties, including double dies on the obverse or reverse, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, all of which can transform an otherwise common coin into a highly sought-after collectible. For example, a well-documented double die obverse may show doubling on the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust, while off-center strikes can create unique visual patterns that intrigue collectors. Additionally, 1975 cents illustrate broader economic and technological themes. During this period, the United States faced rising inflation, oil crises, and increased industrial costs, which prompted the mint to experiment with new materials and stricter quality control measures to reduce waste and improve efficiency. Despite these pressures, the coins remained durable and functional, circulating widely in everyday life, from vending machines and cash registers to piggy banks and school lunch payments. Today, a 1975 cent is not just a piece of currency, it is a tangible connection to mid-1970s America, representing both the daily economy and the meticulous craft of coin production. Collectors who study these coins often examine them under magnification, weighing and measuring them to detect subtle differences, such as slight variations in weight, thickness, or metal composition, which can signal a rare variety. High-grade specimens, especially red road coins in uncirculated condition, can command significant value in the marketplace, while lower-grade circulated coins still hold historical and educational significance, making the 1975 Lincoln cent a versatile and endlessly fascinating piece for collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike. The 1976 Lincoln 1 cent is especially notable because it was minted during America's Bicentennial year, a period filled with historical celebration and patriotic pride, though the Lincoln cent itself did not receive the special bicentennial design that year, unlike quarters, half dollars, and dollars. Despite this, the 1976 penny continued the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse and Brenner's classic obverse, serving as a constant everyday reminder of Abraham Lincoln's enduring legacy while the nation celebrated its 200th anniversary. Struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, the 1976 cent reflects the final era of predominantly copper pennies, before the transition to copper-plated zinc became widespread in 1982, making it historically significant as part of the last generation of traditional copper coinage. Philadelphia minted coins carried no mint mark, while Denver coins bore the small d mark below the date, and together they were produced in the billions, ensuring that most circulated examples are readily available. Collectors, however, focus not only on the coin's availability but also on its condition, color, strike quality, and rare varieties, which can dramatically affect value. Red road coins, which retain their original copper luster, are highly prized, while red-brown RB and brown BN coins, though more common, can also be valuable when uncirculated or in higher grades. Subtle variations in the minting process, including double dies, repunched mint marks, die cracks, clipped planchets, and off-center strikes, make some 1976 cents collectible despite the high mintage. Beyond the numismatic details, the 1976 cent carries cultural significance, as it circulated during a period of national celebration, economic challenges, and social change, appearing in everyday transactions while millions of Americans participated in bicentennial festivities, parades, and commemorations. The coin also reflects advancements in mint technology in the 1970s, including improved die quality, stricter quality control, and higher speed presses that produced coins with more consistent strikes and fewer flaws, though small errors still occurred, which today excite collectors and historians alike. In essence, the 1976 Lincoln cent is more than just a 1-cent coin. It is a tangible piece of history, a small but enduring symbol of American heritage, and an essential component of any Lincoln cent collection, bridging the past and present while offering opportunities for both educational study and monetary value through the discovery of rare or high-grade examples. From a collector's perspective, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent offers a fascinating study in both accessibility and rarity, illustrating how even widely minted coins can reveal surprising depth when examined closely. While the vast majority of 1976 cents are common and circulate at face value, the coin becomes significantly more interesting when considering mint errors, die varieties, and high-grade uncirculated examples. Errors such as double dies on the obverse or reverse, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, clipped planchets, and die cracks provide collectors with opportunities to find coins that are both visually unique and potentially valuable. Even within the large mintage, subtle differences between the Philadelphia and Denver strikes can influence collector preference, as Denver minted coins sometimes exhibit slightly stronger details in Lincoln's coat and the memorial columns. Color is another critical factor. Coins retaining their original red road luster, with sharp details and minimal bag marks, are far more sought after than red-brown RB or fully brown BN coins, which show varying degrees of circulation wear and oxidation. Beyond physical attributes, the 1976 cent also reflects broader economic and social themes, including inflation, changes in metal prices, and the continuing evolution of U.S. coinage technology during the mid-1970s. The coin circulated widely in daily life, appearing in cash registers, vending machines, piggy banks, and school lunches, yet it also serves as a small historical artifact, connecting collectors to the culture and economy of America's bicentennial year. For modern collectors, the 1976 Lincoln cent offers both educational and monetary value. It is a chance to study coin design, minting practices, and the subtle nuances that distinguish ordinary coins from rare varieties, while also providing potential financial reward for those who identify high-grade or rare specimens. In this way, The 1976 Lincoln cent, though simple in design and commonly found in circulation, exemplifies the richness of American numismatics, combining history, artistry, metallurgy, and collecting intrigue into a single small copper coin that continues to captivate enthusiasts over 50 years after its release. The 1976 Lincoln 1 cent is a remarkable coin that represents not only a continuation of the classic Lincoln cent series but also a connection to a significant historical moment in the United States, the Bicentennial year, when Americans celebrated 200 years of independence. Although the penny itself did not receive the special bicentennial reverse that adorned quarters, half dollars, and dollars, the 1976 cent retained the iconic Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, first introduced in 1959, and Victor David Brenner's well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, which had been in circulation since 1909. The coin was struck in the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc composition, making it part of the last generation of predominantly copper cents before the transition to copper-plated zinc in the early 1980s, a change driven by the rising cost of copper and economic pressures. Philadelphia minted coins carried no mint mark, while Denver coins displayed the small D mark below the date, and together, the total mintage reached billions, ensuring that most circulated examples are common today. Despite its high mintage, the 1976 cent is highly valued by collectors due to the combination of its historical context, condition, color, and the presence of rare minting varieties. Coins can be found in red, RD, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, depending on the extent of oxidation and circulation, with red coins retaining the original copper luster and commanding the highest premiums. Striking quality also varies, with some coins exhibiting sharp details in Lincoln's facial features, coat, and the Lincoln Memorial columns, while others may display weak strikes due to die wear. Collectors are particularly interested in error coins and die varieties, including doubled dies on the obverse or reverse, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and other anomalies, which can transform a seemingly ordinary coin into a highly sought-after collectible. Beyond its numismatic characteristics, the 1976 Lincoln cent serves as a tangible link to the mid-1970s America, a period of social change, economic uncertainty, and patriotic celebration, circulating widely in everyday transactions, from cash registers and vending machines to school lunches and piggy banks. The coin also reflects technological advancements in the mint during the 1970s, including the use of harder die steel, improved quality control, and faster presses, which produced higher consistency and allowed for subtle variations that are now prized by collectors. Today, the 1976 cent is both a historical artifact and a collectible, offering educational, aesthetic, and financial value. High-grade, uncirculated red coins can command hundreds of dollars, while coins with notable mint errors or rare varieties can fetch significantly higher sums, making the 1976 Lincoln cent a versatile and essential piece for collectors. Its enduring presence in collections, coupled with its connection to America's bicentennial and the last decades of copper coinage, ensures that the 1976 Lincoln cent remains a coin of great significance and fascination for numismatists and history enthusiasts alike. The 1976 Lincoln 1 cent is a coin that embodies both the continuity of the long-running Lincoln cent series and the historical significance of the United States bicentennial year, providing numismatists and collectors with a fascinating glimpse into mid-1970s American culture, economics, and mint practices. Although the penny itself did not receive the special bicentennial reverse that was featured on quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins, it retained the traditional Lincoln Memorial reverse introduced in 1959 and the classic Victor David Brenner obverse design of Abraham Lincoln, which had been in use since 1909, making it one of the most recognized and enduring coin designs in U.S. history. symbolizing both the nation's reverence for Lincoln and the continuity of everyday currency. Struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, the 1976 cent was part of the final era of predominantly copper pennies, preceding the mint's transition to copper-plated zinc in 1982, a move driven by the rising cost of copper and the economic pressures of producing coins that were increasingly more expensive to mint than their face value, reflecting broader social and financial dynamics of the 1970s, including inflation, energy crises, and changing industrial costs, which all indirectly impacted the production and circulation of coins. The coin was minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark and in Denver with the small d mint mark beneath the date, together totaling billions of coins, ensuring that circulated examples remain extremely common. Yet despite this, the 1976 cent holds significant interest for collectors because of its condition, strike quality, metal composition, and the potential for rare varieties, which can dramatically increase value, making even ordinary pennies an object of study. Collectors often examine these coins for red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN color classifications, as the preservation of the original copper luster greatly affects desirability, with red coins exhibiting brilliant, reflective surfaces and sharp details, red-brown coins showing partial toning and a mix of luster and patina, and brown coins displaying full circulation toning, which, while less visually striking, still carry historical significance, particularly when found in higher grades or with strong strike detail. Speaking of strikes, the quality varies among coins, with some examples showing crisp details in Lincoln's facial features, coat, and the folds of the Lincoln Memorial columns, while others reflect minor die wear or inconsistencies from the high-speed presses used at the time, which modern collectors study under magnification to detect subtle differences, die alignment issues, or weak strikes that can distinguish one specimen from another. Moreover, mint errors and varieties, including doubled dies on the obverse or reverse, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, add an additional layer of intrigue, as even a small anomaly can make a common coin extraordinarily collectible, blending the appeal of both historical documentation and investment potential. Historically and culturally, the 1976 cent circulated during a time of patriotic celebration across the United States, appearing in cash registers, vending machines, school lunch payments, and piggy banks, while the nation observed its 200th anniversary of independence with parades, commemorations, and widespread civic pride, situating the coin as both a practical instrument of commerce and a tangible symbol of American identity. Technically, the coin reflects the mint's advancements in production during the 1970s, including the use of harder die steel for improved longevity, better quality control to reduce defective strikes, and faster, more precise coining presses, all of which contributed to subtle variations in strike quality, planchet preparation, and luster that modern collectors analyze for grading, authentication, and valuation purposes. Economically, while the face value remained 1 cent, the intrinsic copper value in 1976 pennies and those of nearby years has occasionally exceeded 1 cent due to market fluctuations, adding an additional dimension of interest, particularly when combined with rarity factors or collectible conditions. In today's numismatic market, high-grade red road uncirculated 1976 cents are highly sought after, with prices often ranging from several tens to hundreds of dollars, while coins displaying notable errors or exceptionally preserved details can command premium prices in specialized auctions or private sales, offering both educational insight and tangible investment potential. Overall, the 1976 Lincoln cent stands as a remarkable example of American coinage that intertwines artistry, metallurgy, historical context, and collector appeal, providing enthusiasts, historians, and hobbyists with a versatile, accessible, and endlessly fascinating object that captures a specific moment in U.S. history. connects us to mid-1970s society and economy, and demonstrates the enduring legacy of one of America's most iconic presidents, Abraham Lincoln, as immortalized in copper, making it an essential coin for any serious Lincoln cent collection or historical study. Beyond its basic specifications and circulation, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent represents a fascinating intersection of American history, coin production technology, and collector enthusiasm, making it much more than just a 1 cent coin. It serves as a small yet tangible symbol of the United States during the mid-1970s, a period defined by economic challenges such as rising inflation, fluctuating metal prices, and broader financial uncertainty, which had a direct impact on the mint's operations and ultimately influenced the decisions regarding coin composition and production methods. The coin's high copper content of 95% copper and 5% zinc links it to the last decades of traditional Lincoln cents, preserving both historical metallurgical standards and the visual appeal of the original design, which includes the meticulously detailed Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, elements that not only provide aesthetic value but also allow modern collectors to study variations in die quality, strike precision, and surface preservation over nearly 50 years of circulation. Collectors often examine the coin for color classifications, red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN, which are determined by the degree of oxidation and retention of the original copper luster, while additional attention is paid to strike sharpness, clarity of the memorial columns, and the distinct lines in Lincoln's coat and beard, as these features heavily influence both grading and market value. Beyond normal circulation examples, rare minting errors and varieties such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, die cracks, and repunched mint marks make certain specimens highly desirable, with even subtle anomalies capable of transforming an otherwise ordinary coin into a collectible rarity sought after by numismatists, especially when paired with high grades or excellent color preservation. Historically, the 1976 cent circulated during a year of heightened patriotic sentiment, as Americans celebrated the nation's 200th anniversary, making the coin not only a medium of exchange but also a cultural artifact connected to national identity, public festivities, and the broader social context of mid-1970s America. From a technical standpoint, the coin demonstrates the mint's evolving production methods, including the use of improved die steel for durability, modernized presses for consistent strikes, and enhanced quality control measures, all of which contributed to subtle variations in strike, surface texture, and finish, allowing numismatists to detect minute differences that can distinguish coins from the same mintage. Economically and numismatically, high-grade uncirculated red road 1976 cents are especially valuable, with collectors willing to pay premiums for coins that retain their original luster, crisp details, and absence of marks, while error coins are exceptionally well-preserved. Examples can reach even higher prices in auctions or private sales, making the 1976 cent both a practical collectible and a potential investment. In summary, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent combines artistic design, historical relevance, technical craftsmanship, and numismatic intrigue into a single copper coin, capturing the essence of its era and remaining a vital and highly appreciated piece for collectors, historians, and anyone interested in the story of American coinage, culture, and economy, effectively bridging the past with modern appreciation of Lincoln's enduring legacy. In addition to its historical, technical, and numismatic significance, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent holds a unique position for collectors because it represents a bridge between the traditional copper coinage of the 20th century and the more modern era of copper-plated zinc cents that began in the 1980s, offering enthusiasts the opportunity to study the subtle characteristics of coins produced during a transitional period in U.S. mint history. While the face value remained 1 cent, The intrinsic copper content made the coin increasingly interesting to those aware of metal values, as fluctuations in the copper market occasionally pushed the material worth of the coin close to or even above its nominal denomination, adding another layer of practical and historical interest. The coin's design continuity, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, reinforces its role as a familiar and enduring symbol of American heritage, allowing collectors to appreciate the artistry of Victor David Brenner's portrait and the intricacies of the memorial's tiny architectural details, including the columns and the seated Lincoln statue, which remain visible even on circulated examples, and which can show varying levels of sharpness depending on the strike quality and wear. Moreover, the 1976 cent circulated during a year of immense patriotic activity, coinciding with bicentennial celebrations across the United States, which provides a rich cultural context for collectors to consider, linking the coin to public ceremonies, parades, commemorative events, and the broader national sentiment of pride and reflection on 2 centuries of American history. Technically, the mint employed improved die materials, stricter quality control, and faster press technology to meet the demands of high-volume production, resulting in a large number of coins with consistent weight and thickness, yet still producing subtle anomalies and error coins, such as double dies, repunched mint marks, die cracks, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets, all of which are highly prized in the numismatic community. Collectors also evaluate color preservation, with red road coins retaining their original metallic copper luster, red-brown RB coins showing partial toning, and brown BN coins demonstrating extensive circulation wear, each category offering different levels of desirability and market value depending on condition, strike, and rarity. In contemporary numismatics, the 1976 Lincoln cent appeals to both casual collectors and serious investors, with high-grade uncirculated red coins often fetching hundreds of dollars, while error coins and exceptionally rare varieties can command much higher prices, making the coin both an educational artifact and a potentially lucrative collectible. Ultimately, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent exemplifies the combination of artistry, history, technical craft, and economic significance that makes Lincoln cents a cornerstone of American coin collecting, providing enthusiasts with a tangible connection to mid-1970s society, the nation's bicentennial celebrations, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, all encapsulated within a small yet powerful piece of copper currency that continues to captivate collectors over 50 years after its release.